Hi everyone. I recently made a video talking about a difficult moment in my life that I went through, talking about navigating the dark night of the soul or an ego death or an ego degradation, whatever you'd like to call it. You know, people might go through a spiritual awakening, or they might go through just a really challenging time in their life, and a time when you feel like a lot of emotion is coming up. And I was reflecting on kind of that video that I made later on, and it occurred to me that, it might be interpreted as, you have to sit with a lot of really unpleasant emotions, and feeling emotions is horrible, but it's something you have to go through. So it inspired me to kind of talk a little bit more about emotions, because I personally see emotions as incredibly foundational to our human existence and the sources of our greatest potential and our greatest power. These are the windows that can potentially unlock our highest self, our highest embodiment of who we are, our strongest, most powerful potential. And let me explain why. We have found ourselves in a society that has kind of frowned upon the expression of emotions somewhere along the line, especially in, modern Western society. There's this tendency to try to see them as hindrances and weaknesses and boundaries and things that will get in the way of reaching your goals and being your most powerful self, and being strong, and being a powerful presence in the world. Nothing could be further from the truth, and we've gotten this incredibly wrong. I think this does come down to maybe a patriarchal attitude, that anything associated with the feminine, emotionality, things like that, can be seen as a weakness. Emotions are the windows to your highest intelligence. Emotions are the vibrations, the messages that come through from the non-physical realm into the physical realm via the body, right? The body feels all the emotions. All of your emotions are stored and processed and communicated through your body first. And your brain will have the thoughts, your body will feel the emotion. Okay? If you feel expansive love, intense feelings of joy, you'll feel it in your heart. If you feel anxiety, fear, you'll feel it in your stomach. I have certain things that I feel in my sacral area that I know are related to my femininity. So these emotions will come directly through the body, and they are incredibly potent and incredibly powerful. They're not just things that we can choose to take or leave. At a certain point, they will keep pushing, to the point where if we ignore them for long enough, they manifest as tension, disease in the body, and eventually can even lead to shortening your life or making you very, very sick. So we are literally structured as human beings in this life, in this human existence. Our souls have been put into bodies that will not allow us to ignore emotions. This should tell us how important they are. This should tell us how essential it is to express them, to embody them, to sit with them. Emotions, first and foremost, want to be recognized. This is why they will start to create this tension in the body until you see them, until you sit with them. Because it's easy to sit with the uncomfortable emotions. It's easy to sit with the, what we would perceive often commonly to be the pleasant emotions, the joy and the love and things like that. But it can be really uncomfortable to sit with other emotions, the fear, the anxiety, the guilt, the shame, whatever it may be. It can be really, really uncomfortable to sit with. And these are the emotions that will tend to kind of manifest physically in our body, because they're the ones that we really do want to, we really do tend to want to suppress. So they are incredibly important. And the reason for that is our soul, energetically, our soul is communicating with us through our body via our emotions. Okay, so if we suppress that, we are effectively cutting off access to our higher self, our highest knowledge, our soul, the essence of us that will tell us what our path is, what is for our highest good, what our life's purpose is, the relationships that we should have, the people that make us, that are going to bring positive things into our life, or situations to avoid, or whatever it might be. Our bodies, our emotions are telling us this. Our most difficult emotions, our most painful emotions, our traumas, our deep-seated stuff that we've, some of us carried through since we were small children, they're coming up to expand us. They're coming up to convert themselves into strength. Yes, they start off as what many might perceive as weakness, but it's not weakness, it's vulnerability. They come up to trigger the most vulnerable part of you. When you sit with those emotions, when you process them, when you take the time to spend time with them, see them, let them ask you to ask them questions. What do you want? What are you here for? What are you trying to teach me? If you sit with them for long enough, they will start to reveal to you what it is in you that doesn't want to feel this emotion or wants to feel this emotion. What's resisting? What's it bringing up? Where is it coming from? All of these things. Once you spend time in this state, once you move through this kind of vulnerable state of sitting with your emotion, and it can be any type of emotion, these perceived weaknesses, these vulnerable kind of touch points where you feel that you don't want anyone to see or you don't want to see it yourself, they become your greatest assets. These are the places where you become the most powerful. These are the places where you become the most spiritually evolved. These are the places that open up the doors that allow you to reach your highest potential. So the ego mind would like you to think it's the opposite, that we push them to the side, we forget the emotions, we repress them, we stuff them down because that's what toughness is, that's what strength is. Think about it this way. In order for us to, get maybe monetary gain or to get what we want in the world or what our ego and our external 3D self tells us we want. Think of this way, okay? When you come to the end of your life, you are not taking any of these things with you, okay? You are not taking your bank account with you. You are not taking your physical body with you. You are not taking the house that you live in with you. You are not taking, all of the things that you've acquired, your nice car or your expensive clothes. None of this. I mean, what your $1 million business, whatever it is that you see as being so important that you actually cut off access to your own soul in order to acquire it. None of these things are coming with you. All of your physical experiences that are superficial, that mean nothing, they're not coming with you. What's coming with you is your soul. The only thing that's coming with you. That's the only thing that's coming with you, is that essence, that soul. If you don't nurture that soul, if you don't connect with that soul throughout your life, if you don't carry that soul with you and constantly grow it and expand it and allow it to fully reach its potential, essentially, you're throwing away an entire journey, an entire human experience on things that have not enhanced your soul. They have not added to the essential being of what you are, that follows you outside of this lifetime and beyond. So this is how important emotions are. This is what emotions are here for, and there's no way around it. Yes, they can be uncomfortable, but once you get past discomfort, they can just expand you in ways. They can fortify you in ways. They can prepare you in ways that you can't even imagine. And they can be extremely positive as well. Emotions should not be seen, as a negative kind of, as a chore or something. Oh, I need to face that. I need to face this. Yes, they can be challenging, but since when does challenging mean bad? You know what I mean? Of course, artists and creatives tend to lean into emotions because we know that the beauty lies in the emotions. Why does anyone fall in love with a piece of art? Why does anyone fall in love with a piece of music? Because it makes them feel an emotion. If it doesn't, it literally has no meaning. It has no resonance. This is how essential they are to us. If you read a book and it doesn't make you feel anything, even if it's a nonfiction book, it doesn't have any value to you. Okay, and this is why creativity in the arts is so important for us as human beings, because it enriches our soul and it reminds us of the importance of the emotionality of our being. We are here, like I said, and I'll say again, we are here as souls who have been put into bodies, into these physical vessels that channel emotion and physically bring them up in a way that we can't ignore. Eventually, we might try to ignore them for years or months or years or whatever it is, but they will manifest as great tension and disease and pain in the body or chronic illness or whatever it is. So they will not be ignored. They are essential parts of why we are here. They are essential tools. So I just wanted to make that really clear, that they are not something to be looked away from, and they're not something that we should see attribute as being negative, because there is no negative. Pleasurable emotions are the reason, are what we all want. It's what we're all here for. And when I mean emotion, I don't mean a dopamine addiction where you're going out and, having casual sex or, having empty experiences, or addicted to screens, or addicted to drugs or alcohol or gambling or whatever it might be, that's giving you a quick high and a quick stroke of the ego or whatever it is, and a dopamine hit. That's not an emotion. That's not even a positive emotion. That's a chemical addiction, because your brain is just going after, it's chasing a dopamine hit. So that is not the emotion I'm speaking of. But real emotion, true joy, true love, true compassion, true gratitude, these feelings, these are the highest vibrational emotions that you can feel. And in that very same way, they have the exact equal value as fear, as shame, as anxiety, as guilt, whatever it might be. Not because we should walk around in that state, but because those lower vibrational emotions they are portals to the areas of you, the parts of your soul that require attention, the parts of your woundedness that need to be seen. They need to be seen in order for you to ascend, to expand, to become the best possible version of who you are. So I hope this resonated with you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.